Hi, this is Miss Litton, and this is my Period 1 APBio class. Say hi.
Hi.
And we're going to talk about neuron transmission. Remember that a neuron has both electrical and what kind of messages? Chemical. So right now we're going to focus on that electrical message along the length of the neuron. So here I've drawn a really nice neuron for you. Do you recognize the different parts of it? Yes. What would this be right here?
Dendrites.
Yeah, the dendrites in here would be the cell body. This would be the axon, and these would be the what? Yeah, the axonal bolts, right? And this could be synapse to another neuron, yes? Okay, so, okay, thank you. Okay, and first thing you told me about, 30% of our energy is dedicated to our what?
Sodium, potassium.
Sodium, potassium pump. Guys, can I get you up here so I know this is one of the key learnings of this chapter, so we want to make sure we get it. Sodium, potassium pump. What does the sodium, potassium pump do?
3 sodium ions.
3 sodiums out and 2 potassiums in. Okay? So I haven't actually drawn the pump. It would be along this membrane right here, putting 3 sodiums out and each time 2 potassiums in. Okay? Oh, not that one. Yes, there we go. And this would be happening on both sides here. I'm just not taking the time to set it completely up. So now, with 3 sodiums out and 2 potassiums in, okay, all eyes up here, what would I have as far as positive charges going? I would have more what? Positive outside than inside. Because for every 3 positives I'm putting out, I'm only putting 2 positives in. Okay, so we've got that part of it. Okay, additionally, inside the neuron, okay, I have these negatively charged ions or negatively charged proteins. Okay, and another thing that happens is the potassium gates, these are all one-way gates, they're a little leaky, and so sometimes some potassium leaks back out. Sodium gates are a little bit stronger. Okay, so we've got a couple things going for us. We've got more positives out than in, and also inside we have more negative charges. This sets up our what potential? Right now we set up our resting potential. This is a neuron at rest. Look. Okay, it's resting. It's not firing. The resting potential may be about minus 70 millivolts, the difference between it. More positives out than in, and you have these negatively charged ions. This is a resting potential. This right here is power, so we can do what you just told me, which is not the resting potential, but the action potential. Much like reductase, cytochrome oxidase, and you make some ATP. A lot of it, a lot of it, a lot of it. Why? We set up a chemiosmotic gradient, right? In our mighty mitochondria. In an organelle within a cell, we set up a difference. We can harvest that difference to do some work, right? Now we're talking about a whole cell membrane that we're setting up a difference on. And we can use this to do work. So, which part of this neuron is the receiving part?
Dendrites.
Yeah. So the dendrites can receive a chemical message right here. If that chemical message is excitatory, if it's excitatory, what it might then do is open up some sodium gates. So sodium comes in. This chemical, it could be a ligand-gated channel where the chemical binds and sodium gate goes and opens up. And sodium wants to go from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. What do you call that if it goes through a gate from a higher concentration to a lower concentration? It is passive, but be specific. Facilitated diffusion, right? Facilitated, that was all Zach, okay. Facilitated diffusion going from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. And the sodium will come in. If enough sodium comes in, it was at negative 70. Now it's a little less negative, a little less negative, a little less negative. If it gets, okay, maybe minus 40 or so, it can go, that's it. The light is green, and it triggers an action potential. And what happens is, like dominoes, if you set up a long thing of dominoes, when ding, it goes down the whole length of the neuron. Sodium comes in, 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 and eventually down here at the very end, then the only thing that can happen is a neurotransmitter gets released. And it could trigger the next neuron or the muscle or the gland. So we got from point A to point B using a reversal of charge. That's your action potential. Okay, now be with me. I want this neuron to fire again. But keep in mind what's happened. It was, the outside was positive and the inside was negative. But now that the sodiums have come in, this reversal of charge, now the inside is positive. And since all the positives come in, that means the outside is negative. So I can't fire again, because these are voltage gated channels, these sodium potassium gates. I can't fire again until it gets to be what outside again? Positive. What is my quick fix for that? Potassium. Open up the potassium gates. The potassium goes out and takes sodium's place. Not that. Not that. The potassium goes out and takes sodium's place, and now the outside has been restored to being what again? Positive, and the inside is negative. And the neuron can fire again, because there's a lot of potassium and sodium. I'm acting like there's only one out there, but there's a lot. And can you hang on to that just for a minute? This happens so quickly that when the sodium rushes in, it's going in. Right behind it, the potassium's going out. Okay? So that this can fire again. But if this keeps going again and again and again, pretty soon all of our sodium is going to be inside and all of our potassium is going to be out. So the long-term fix is the pump. Sodium potassium pump, who will restore them to their rightful places, pumping 3 sodiums out for every 2 potassiums in. And it gets it back to where it needs to be. Okay? The sodium potassium pumps are working all the time. 30% of our energy is dedicated to our sodium potassium. They'll work whether that neuron fires or not. 3 sodiums out, 2 potassiums in. 3 sodiums out. A different gate is the sodium gates and the potassium. Those are different than the sodium potassium pump. Okay? Those are triggered by an action potential and then quickly restored. It would be like this. It's a Friday afternoon and your mom says, you can go out, but you got to clean your room first. Not a lot of time. I want to go out in an hour. My room's pretty much a mess. What could you do to pass the clean room test? Just shove everything everywhere, right? Drawers, okay, under the closet, in the closet, under the bed. So when your mom says, did you clean your room? You're like, totally. Look at it. It's clean, you know? And she walks by, oh, okay, yeah. Unless she's like me, and I get down on my hands and knees and start pulling crap out of everything. Okay. But anyway, she walks by and she goes, okay, yeah, good, you can go out. Now, if you keep cleaning your room like that, passes the clean test. If company comes, it looks all right. But, right? It's all appearances, okay? But if you keep doing that again and again and again, pretty soon all your stuff's going to be all over the place. So you're going to have to invest some time and energy hiring somebody to clean that up for you. No, you're going to have to invest some time or energy, right, to actually put everything back where it needs to go. That's your sodium potassium pump. The quick fix is let potassium go out and restore the resting potential. The long-term fix is the sodium potassium pump, who will work again and again and again. Okay, Max?
So what does all this work for? I don't understand. I understand a lot of energy.
Okay.
What is the point of it?
Okay. Because you have 2 systems that are primarily in charge of maintaining homeostasis. And that is your nervous system and your endocrine system. Your nervous system is helping you chew that gum right now in your mouth. If you want to chew that gum, these muscles need to contract. Your motor neurons need to send a message to your jaw to chew on that gum. How is that happening? This is how the information gets from your brain to your muscles. This electrical message. Okay? So you have different motor neurons going everywhere to your body, right? So those neurons have to fire.
So this whole thing is just to get the
This is to get from point A to point B. Because here's my control area, right? Here's my control area, but I want to move the stapler. How do I get the information from my brain to my arm to push on this stapler. No, 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 no. Right? That's how. Yes.
So this is like the actual process of how this actually happens.
This is actually how it happens at the cellular level. This is how this thing makes, right? Makes you do everything. This is how I get message to a gland to secrete. This is how I get chymotrypsin coming out of my pancreas and into my small intestine, right? To digest those proteins.
So
Yeah.
the potassium gates and the sodium gates, are those just like channel proteins?
Yes, they are. Very good. What happens when you have trouble and you're working out and you get a muscle cramp? What is it? Okay, it could be lactic. I mean, a cramp and you're like, ah. What do they tell you need to eat more of? Potassium. Potassium and water. Huh. Ah, potassium. Right? Oh. Yes. Okay, stop. I can't hear.
If there's more sodium than there is potassium, right, then whatever side has the sodium is going to be positive, right, always?
Okay, sodium and potassium are both positive.
Right, I know.
Okay, wait, so let me back up, okay? You pump more positives out than inside, and there's negative ions inside, so that sets up your no. It sets up your difference in charge. When a sodium gate opens, if it reaches the threshold, sodium will rush in. That will trigger other gates, which trigger other gates, which trigger other gates, which trigger other gates along the length of the neuron. To quickly fix that, we need another positive back out there to restore this neuron so it can fire again. Potassium will quickly take its place. That's my short-term fix. My long-term fix, put everything back where it goes.
Okay. So that means that in order to have this message go from throughout the body, you have to have a positive on the outside and negative, more negative on the other side. Okay.
Of each neuron. Yes?
So short term is more for like setting the actual signal, and long term just resetting everything? Is
Yes.
that what it is?
Yeah. Okay, look at your notes for me right here. Go to transmission of nerve impulse. Go to 1A. Charges. The inside is negative, outside is positive. Little letter I, overall, more positive outside the neuron than inside. Everybody should help so I can get these notes out there because I'm only going to say them once. Overall, more positive outside the neuron than inside. Little I, negatively charged ions are inside the neuron. Little letter I. Potassium tends to leak back out. Significance, it sets up a difference in charge, a polarized membrane that can be used to transmit and impulse along the length of the neuron. Transmit and impulse along the length of the neuron. Okay? And then we'll pick up at action potential. Action potential. Yes, baby. Yes, you can leave your Chromebooks on here unless you're in the last two rows. Okay, be smart.